The town had always been known for its calm atmosphere, where people trusted each other and life moved at a slow pace. But everything changed one chilly morning when the silence was broken by a call to the local police. A passerby had stumbled upon something terrifying near an abandoned factory that had been closed for years. The place was avoided by most people, its broken windows and rusted gates giving it a haunted look. On that particular day, however, it became the center of a mystery that no one could ignore. When the police arrived, they found the lifeless body of a young man lying on the cold ground. His appearance suggested that he was in his early 20s, dressed casually, and there were no visible signs of a struggle. His belongings, including his wallet and phone, were still with him, which ruled out the possibility of a robbery gone wrong. What caught the attention of the investigators was a strange mark carved into his wrist. It was not an accident or injury, it was deliberate, a symbol etched with precision, as if it carried a hidden meaning. No one could understand why such a symbol would be left on the victim, and what message it was supposed to deliver. The entire area was sealed off, and forensic experts searched for any trace of evidence, but nothing seemed out of place. News spread quickly across the town, and fear began to take over. People whispered among themselves, wondering if this was the beginning of something bigger. The abandoned factory, once just an ignored structure on the outskirts, became a place of terror. For the first time in years, the town felt unsafe, as though something dark had entered its quiet streets and was waiting to reveal itself. The victim was soon identified as a young student who had recently moved into the town. He had no criminal record, no history of disputes, and his family described him as quiet and reserved, someone who preferred to spend most of his time reading or studying. Nothing about his background suggested danger, yet the circumstances of his death told a different story. Investigators searched his small rented apartment, hoping to find answers. At first glance, the place was ordinary, with books scattered on the table, a few clothes neatly folded, and basic necessities of a student's life. But hidden inside a locked drawer, they uncovered something far more troubling, a worn-out diary with pages filled in shaky handwriting. The diary contained strange notes, rough sketches, and patterns that made little sense at first. Among them were drawings of the same symbol carved into the victim's wrist, repeated multiple times as if it had some special significance. Alongside these sketches were lines of coded writing, names of places written in incomplete sentences, and a series of numbers arranged in odd sequences. It appeared less like a personal journal and more like a collection of secrets the young man had stumbled upon. The investigators realized that the victim might have been trying to piece together something dangerous. His death was no longer seen as an isolated crime, but rather as the result of deeper involvement in something hidden. Each entry in the diary hinted that he had been following a trail, possibly something that had caught his attention and drawn him closer to a truth he was not meant to discover. The discovery shifted the entire case. It was no longer about who killed him, but why, and what he had uncovered that had cost him his life. The coded notes from the diary became the new focus of the investigation. Each symbol and sequence of numbers seemed to point toward locations scattered across the town. Following these clues, the investigators first reached an abandoned library that had been closed for years. Dust covered the shelves, and broken furniture filled the halls, but what stood out were the faint carvings on the wall. The same mysterious symbol from the victim's wrist was etched deeply into the wood, as if left there intentionally for someone to find. It was not a random mark, it looked like a message, a warning, or perhaps a sign of belonging to something hidden. Encouraged by this discovery, the police followed the next clue to a closed-down cinema that once entertained the town but now stood as a hollow reminder of the past. In the projection room, they found another symbol, this time scratched into the concrete floor. It was identical in design, and its presence confirmed that these places were connected in some way. The trail then led them to an underground tunnel on the edge of the city, a place known only to a few locals. Inside the dark passageway, the same symbol appeared again, this time painted in black across the walls, repeated multiple times like a silent signature. The more places they uncovered, the clearer it became that the victim had stumbled upon something far larger than anyone imagined. These symbols suggested the existence of a hidden network or group operating in the shadows, leaving their marks in places long forgotten by the public. Rumors began to circulate throughout the town, whispers of a secret society that punished those who tried to uncover its presence. The fear was heightened when news spread of another person disappearing without a trace, deepening the mystery and confirming that this was not over. The case took an unexpected turn when evidence connected the second missing person to someone shockingly close to the investigation. For weeks, the police had been searching for clues, yet every path seemed to circle back to a dead end. Then a breakthrough arrived when forensic experts found traces of the missing individual's belongings linked to a house belonging to a police officer who had been working on the case from the very beginning. At first, it seemed unbelievable. How could someone responsible for solving the mystery be tied to it? But the evidence was undeniable. A secret search of his residence revealed documents and hidden files that painted a chilling picture. Within a locked cabinet were photographs of the very locations marked in the victim's diary, along with detailed notes about who had visited those sites. There were also pages bearing the same strange symbol that had appeared on the victim's wrist and across the abandoned locations in town. It became clear that this officer had not only known about the group's existence but was actively working with them. The realization struck like a storm. While the town had been looking for answers, the one assigned to protect them had been deliberately hiding the truth. He had used his authority to misdirect the investigation, discarding evidence that could have exposed the group and creating confusion that kept the truth buried. The first victim, it appeared, had uncovered these connections and had been silenced before he could reveal them. The officer's betrayal shook both the force and the townspeople. No one could believe that trust had been so severely broken. The case was no longer about a mysterious crime, it was about exposing the corruption that had allowed darkness to hide in plain sight for years. Weeks of relentless effort finally brought the truth into the open. The arrest of the corrupt officer led investigators deeper into a web of secrets that had been hiding in the town for decades. Interrogations revealed that he was not working alone, he was part of a secret society that operated quietly, bound by codes and symbols. This group had survived for generations, its members spread across different professions, blending into everyday life while ensuring their activities remained hidden. The symbol carved on the first victim's wrist was not random at all, it was the mark of the society, a silent warning to anyone who dared to challenge them. The confessions that followed were chilling. The group admitted to targeting anyone who uncovered too much about their operations. The young student had stumbled upon their trail while studying the town's forgotten history. His diary was proof that he had been close to revealing the society's existence, which made him a threat. Silencing him became their only option. The second missing person had also come dangerously close to learning the truth, and once again, the group acted swiftly to protect itself. When the truth was finally revealed, the town was shaken to its core. People who had once felt safe now questioned everyone around them. The very idea that trusted figures, including law enforcement, had been shielding criminals was almost too much to accept. The corrupt officer and several members of the society were arrested, but whispers lingered that not everyone had been caught. The abandoned factory where the first body was discovered became a grim reminder of what had happened, a symbol of secrets that nearly remained buried. Though justice had been served, fear stayed behind, leaving the town forever changed by the crime that exposed hidden darkness.